Welcome, everybody, to our artificial intelligence track, new track on this ITB. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dirk Rogel, Managing Director of Travel Commerce, your host for today. But most important, I think we have a program that hopefully brings you a big step forward into the digital future. You know, GenAI is everywhere, as is ITB, of course, but I think in this track, we hopefully have the right mix of topics that will help you to use AI in the right way. We do have the big guys. We have Microsoft now. We have Google later on. But we also have, I think, a pretty good mixture of expertise, of best practices about becoming a real game changer in the right usage of generative AI. Of course, related to the travel industry, which is highly important. For the beginning, we start with Microsoft. I don't think I have to explain to you that much about this company. This is really the game changer in AI, and I'm pretty happy to welcome Karen Bagger, the Engineer Group Manager, Travel and AI, coming straight from India to us. Welcome, Karen. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Dirk. It's wonderful to be here.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. I'm Karan Bagga, and I'm thrilled to be here today. For those of us who are living and breathing travel every day, it's very exciting to be here at ITB and see all the great stuff all over the place. I'm going to talk to you today about how generative AI and Microsoft Copilot are bringing a new intelligence into travel. But before I start, a very brief introduction about myself. I started at Microsoft as an engineer almost 23 years ago. And during this time, I have been playing various engineering and product leadership roles across a variety of consumer businesses. For the last 5.5 years, I've been fully focused on travel. And it's a funny thing, because whenever friends or family are planning a trip, frequently they'll call me, and I become their personal travel concierge. Maybe that happens to some of you as well. And I'm hoping that'll change. So let's start with why all this buzz about AI right now. We've had AI and machine learning in technology for a long time. For several years, we've been using this even in the travel space. But what we started to see about a little over a year ago was really fascinating, a new form of AI. When ChatGPT first came out, it was amazing to play with it. And all of us had a lot of fun with it. We tried out different things, and we were really enjoying what it could do, what was new. But since then, a year has passed, and things have progressed. We are now seeing the application of this new AI technology in a variety of different consumer applications across different industries. And this is just amazing. This is why we believe that we are at the dawn of a new era of computing. And that's why all this excitement right now. So let me talk about what's really different. On the one hand, we see fantastic gains in what is known as predictive AI. Predictive AI is machine learning that analyzes data to detect patterns and predict future outcomes. This form of AI is fantastic at pattern recognition. And for instance, if you're using the search bar and you're typing something, and the suggestions that come up, that is predictive AI at play that is making suggestions about what it believes is the most useful thing that you would probably look for. This form of AI has had a lot of application already, and it's extending even further. It's used in things like fraud detection, medical diagnosis, as well as market forecasting. While this is great and it's exciting, what's coming after this is even more exciting. What's really new is generative AI. Generative AI uses machine learning to be able to create new and unique original content based on patterns that it has seen in the past. And this form of machine learning can be used to create images, text, videos, audio, even code, and a lot more. It does haikus, poems. We've seen all of this. So this form of AI not only frees your time, but it can actually co-collaborate with you to make you a better creative. This is a great quote from Satya Nadella, our CEO. I'll give you a moment to look at it. And let me break this down a little bit. So there are two fundamental innovations that are there in this new form of AI. The first is that we finally have a new natural interface. And this starts with language, but it quickly goes beyond that to see, to hear, to be able to interpret and make sense of our world around us. The second, innovation is actually a new reasoning engine. And this is able to make sense of our world and find patterns in everything that's digitized. And together, these two work together to form this new era of computing. For many decades, one of the big dreams in computing has been that can we make computers that can understand us versus us understanding computers. It now finally feels like we might be getting there. So with this breakthrough in models that can understand natural language, we finally have computers that can hold a conversation. And conversations are ultimately the simplest and easiest form of natural user interface. This is fantastic. And with the ability to have context along with conversation and keep that context, computers can now talk to us about various different topics in various different domains and not get confused between them. So you could be talking about a sports event, and you could be talking about a recipe, and it does not get confused. It can just keep those conversations going. And that's very powerful. This is one of the big fundamental shifts in computing, and because it changes the human computer interface in a fantastic way. And that's what's really exciting here. This is why we think of AI as the new electricity. Like electricity, AI seamlessly integrates into everything that we would do, and in the future, we won't even know it's there, but it's going to be powering everything that we do. For the most part, today, when we use electricity, we don't think about it. We just, it powers all of our devices, our appliances, everything out here is powered by electricity, but we don't think about it. When we turn on a switch today, we don't say hurrah for electricity. We just rely on it being there. It's only when the power goes out that we actually notice that it's absent. In a very similar way, AI is going to become that invisible, invaluable resource that we are all going to come to depend on. And just like any other technology advancement, harnessing its power safely is critical. This is a comment from Microsoft President and Chief Legal Officer. Please take a look. There are good reasons why people can be apprehensive about this new form of AI. It's important that we build in safeguards in order to make sure that any new form of technology can be safely consumed by everybody. For example, when electricity first came out, it was very dangerous. And as a result of that, it led to the development of things like transformers and circuit breakers that made this technology safer to use. In a very similar way, we are building in protections into our systems in order to make sure that this technology is available for everybody. As Microsoft, it is our goal to democratize our breakthroughs in AI in order for every person and organization to be able to use them. And in order to be able to do that, we have to make sure that it is safely available for everybody. For that, we have a responsible AI framework that we are deeply invested in. We make sure that every product every artificial intelligence application, product, code that is released to the public always goes through a rigorous ethics review before it is made available. This is our intent to make sure that this technology can be used safely by everybody. And this is why we bring this capability forward through the Copilot. What we have seen is that the most magical and empowering experiences that people have with artificial intelligence today happen when AI is able to pull in context that is way beyond what's right in front of you. For instance, if you are trying to build some slides in PowerPoint, and AI and the Copilot are able to bring in your communications that happened in Outlook, in Teams, and be able to put that in front of you along with information from your files in a great way, that's actually magical. Or if you're planning a family vacation, and the Copilot is able to pull in your preferences and your communications, as well as what Bing knows about the destination that you're going to, and bring it all together, that is really empowering. So the more context and memory that Copilot has, the more valuable of a companion it can be. So the context and intelligence of the web, your application data, and what you're doing in the moment on the device that's in front of you, presenting all of that information together in one unified experience that is grounded in your preferences and your permissions is what we're trying to achieve. So this is why we think of Copilot as the AI companion, everyday AI companion for all of us. Our vision of Copilot is that it can empower every person to be able to do everything that they want to in a very safe manner. And that is why we have a vision for Copilot, which is to empower every person and organization on the planet to achieve more. So let me show you some examples of the Copilot in search Bing. Initially, when we launched this, we called this the new Bing, or also the Bing chat. But now that we think of Copilot as a single unified experience across everything, we just call this the Copilot in Bing. So Microsoft Copilot extends generative AI's capabilities well beyond what it's able to do by pulling in information from the web. It also pulls in information from your application insights, as well as information from Microsoft partners and advertising frameworks. And this means that the Copilot can is aware of things such as your real-time pricing. It can pull in information like recent events that have just happened, for example, and something that's related to a destination that somebody may be traveling to. It can also pull in information from web references and be able to lead people to them, as well as information from Microsoft advertising partners that are integrated with us. And all of this is joined together through a responsible AI framework that makes sure that all of this is presented safely. So let me demonstrate what this looks like. Here is somebody who's trying to find flights to Dubai. And as you can see, users are making full sentence queries to Copilot today, as opposed to just a few keywords. This is a good, important distinction. And as you can see, the Copilot brings together information from a variety of sources to present a really rich, comprehensive set of information for the traveler. I'd like to call out that in here, it's able to pull in real-time prices with real booking links that are powered from Bing Travel Search. It's also able to pull in information recognizing that users this user has a travel intent to Dubai and makes a great set of tour recommendations that are relevant for the user. And what a great set of examples there, and fantastic prices too. So in this next part, I'm going to talk to you about a few examples during different stages of some of the key travel stages that users go through. The first is what we call as the inspiration stage. This is also when users are dreaming and they are really ideating about a particular destination that they have just heard about. They may have seen it on an Instagram post. They might have heard of it from a friend. They might have just come across something. And in this case, users are looking for a set of information to be able to orient themselves and plan something distant in the future. They don't have any plans right now. They're just trying to figure out, is this a place I would like to go to? So an example here is when a user is basically pulling in information for Jaipur, where they are trying to figure out whether a trip that they're making to India, whether they should include Jaipur in that itinerary or not. And as you can see, Copilot pulls in a great summarized set of information, talks about the historical, cultural aspects that would be relevant for that traveler, and then summarizes that very nicely. Also pulls in partner integrations as well. The important distinction for us as travel industry people here is that getting this kind of information in the past was really difficult. My team's been working on this for a long time, and it has taken an enormous amount of effort and time and expense to be able to create this for tens of thousands of destinations. Now imagine you can do this for global scale, for thousands and 100,000 destinations. All those hyper-local, small places that we would not be able to find information for, we're able to do this now through this kind of technology. And we can customize it. We can give prompts. We can actually ask the Copilot to tune this for a particular audience. It may be somebody who is traveling from a certain region of the world. It could be somebody that is looking for a particular kind of trip, like a cultural trip or a historical trip. So all of those could be done. Taking this further, the same user is trying to go one step deeper and figure out what are the top attractions that they might be interested in from a historical perspective. Again, a great summary of information coming together. And this can be pulled together to create rich experiences similar to this one on Bing Travel, where you can create great destination guides, as well as you're able to use the power of Copilot to be able to provide this in various languages. Similar, in this example, there's a Japanese example and a Portuguese example, but this could be hundreds of different languages. This is really utilizing the power of Copilot in this very early stage of the user travel journey. The next stage is the planning stage. This could be, in this stage of travel, the traveler typically knows about a particular area of the world they want to go to or has a particular destination in mind, but they're still, and they're starting to get into that early planning cycle where they're trying to figure out all the specific details that they want to know to be able to make a successful trip. Here, Copilot can take the form of an agent or a user expert, a destination expert, and be able to provide very precise information that's helpful to the traveler. One of the things that we have seen is that when you have chatbots in applications like this, which are powered by AI, they are immensely powerful in giving very specific information that understands user context really nicely, and respond to that at a global scale in many different languages. That's something that's super hard to do without a power like this. So this is where AI plays like a superpower in scenarios like this. And I'll show you a few examples of what this looks like. The first is somebody thinking about a trip to Dubai, and they're trying to figure out how many days they may want to be taking this trip for. And the Copilot is able to summarize different options for them based on a 1-day, 3-day, 5-day itinerary and suggest what are the kind of things they could do if they were thinking of this destination for this period of time. The second example is somebody who's thinking of a trip to Krabi and is trying to figure out what to pack for that trip and what kind of weather to expect. And great set of summarized information that just gives them exactly what they want, excellent insights that come out as well. The third is something that we've seen, many of you may have seen before, is that this is somebody who's trying to plan a sightseeing trip for London and for 1 day. And the Copilot is able to create a really nice summarized response of the top attractions that they could visit. This is also a place for great customization. Knowing your traveler, you could actually give a lot of suggestions and prompts to the Copilot to be able to tailor this for a specific individual. And that's really powerful. And then again, you see that knowing that this user is planning a trip to London, we have a great set of examples that are coming forward from the Microsoft partners that are integrated into our framework. In the next stage, which is the booking stage that a lot of us are aware of, of course, Copilot is able to pull in real-time information and booking inventory, as well as be able to be able to fulfill that user right there. But what we also see is that Copilot is able to assist in all of those things that a traveler is looking for right before they're able to book. So the final task completion and decision making is something that Copilot is able to do a fantastic job of. And I'll show you some examples here. In the first example is a user who's wants to plan a cruise from Seattle to Alaska and is looking for information from across the web for the kind of cruises that leave for Alaska from Seattle. And Copilot's able to summarize really nicely. You also get a great set of recommendations that are one-click booking options that are available. The second example is a very traditional example, which is of somebody looking for hotels. And again, great information provided as well as the ability to book that. In the third example is somebody that's looking for very specific information for a particular hotel that they are interested in. In this case, this is the Grand Hyatt in Bangkok. And the Copilot is able to pull together really great summarized information that really helps the traveler here. Another aspect that I'd like to talk about out here is about personalization. This is a place where personalization can play a really important role. Each of us are unique individuals. We have different preferences, dietary preferences. We might have different hotel and flight preferences. We might expect a certain class of service. And Copilot's great at being able to, in the future, will be great at being able to remember those preferences at a user level and be able to make really strong recommendations that tailor to that individual. Taking this even further, when you think about all the things that travelers worry about, which is mileage numbers, which could be what kind of deals do my credit cards or my financial instruments provide me that are tailored to me, and I don't have to go hunt for them. They're actually pulled in. I think we will see some innovation in all of these areas in the future. Finally, in the actual travel stage, when people are actually traveling, this is the most exciting time for users. They are typically on a mobile device, and they have very little patience, and they're looking for summarized information really quickly. Copilot in your pocket as an app can be fantastic at this stage of the journey. Users are looking for quick information. They're not looking to do a lot of web research and search across a number of places. So some examples of the kind of queries that we see are right here. The first one is somebody who's in a trip to Bali and is looking for some phrases in Indonesian to be able to, in order to be able to open up some conversations. In the second example, this person is at Heathrow Airport and looking to use the tube to get to London Eye. And very specific information, without having to go search in a number of places, it tells you exactly what they're looking for. The third could be any one of us here making dinner plans, looking for a gluten-free restaurant near Messe, Berlin for this evening. And the last, again, showcases the translation capabilities to be able to do real-time translation that Copilot is able to do. But it's not just about typing these. You can just speak to the Copilot, and it can speak back to you. You could take a picture of something. It could be a food, it could be a particular menu that you cannot read, or a particular signboard that you're trying to translate. In real time, it can pull in all the contextual information and be able to give you a very nice summarized information about exactly what you're looking at. This is a real superpower. I use this in my own travels, and I find this really helpful. So stepping out from the examples, I want to talk about a few statistics about the Microsoft Travel solutions. The first is that we see a large number of searches that are in these top categories, which includes travel. Often these are users in the very early stages, during the inspiration booking stages, and they are well before they're actually turning to booking. At this stage, users are looking for information like the examples that I talked about, and very often they're able to find this on search. Eventually, these users end up planning a vacation, typically several months later, and so we're able to see that much earlier than anybody else. The last statistics talks about the fact that there is a very large number of these users that are not using travel intent keywords in order to make these searches. And the examples that I showed you are some examples of things like that. These users this is a great opportunity for Microsoft and our partners to work together to make really great associations for our travelers and for the industry. Stepping out a little bit more, I want to show you how Copilots are integrated across a variety of Microsoft applications. As you can see, Copilot is already integrated into everything from Word, Excel, PowerPoint, also GitHub, and Search, of course. And it's continuing to get integrated into everything that in almost every application. We think that there is a Copilot for everything. And this is why it's really exciting, because we're not just talking about this as a new technology, right? This is real. We're actually applying it, and we're seeing great productivity gains that are happening. My own team uses Copilot in GitHub, and we've measured it, and we see a noticeable improvement in developer productivity. I know for a fact that I use it for things like team summarization and for being able to even reply to emails, or to be able to draft a really nice letter to somebody. And these save me time. And they will save all of you time. And I think we will see more and more applications like this. This is why we think this is an age of copilots, where there will be a copilot for almost everything that we can think about. And it's also fantastic to see that we have a number of other companies like Duolingo, Lumen, Bayer, Shopify, Mayo Clinic, Amadeus, all of these people that are seeing fantastic successes with the integration of generative AI technology and Microsoft Copilot working together to actually improve things for them and their customers. So again, reinforcing that this is, we keep thinking of this as some new technology, but it's already getting applied. It is getting into product making. It is getting into AI security. It's getting into deployments. And it is actually saving people time. This is not just at Microsoft, but we see it all over our partner ecosystem as well. And I'm looking forward to a talk by Gert Posner from Amadeus in some time after this, who's going to be talking about how Citrix CZ uses AI technology and Copilot together to improve the workflow for their users. Thank you, everyone, for your time. And I look forward to seeing some of you at the rest of ITB. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Karen, thank you so much for your presentation. We learned AI and Copilot is coming to, almost everywhere within the Microsoft system, and it's becoming everywhere within the travel journey, as you said. And,
yes.
And then, of course, we have Bing as the probably one of the home turfs of travel search. You also said this. So do you see Bing already as a kind of travel marketplace already, or how important is travel for you?
That's a great question, Dirk. One of the things that, as I mentioned, that typically during the earlier stages of the travel journey, well before booking, travelers turn to search. And we already see those users today, right? And we are, this is why we've been investing in those early stages to make sure that we can have great information for them. And this is where we see the power of Copilot being just fantastic. So yes, there is a huge marketplace for that. And as the statistics showed, we do see a lot of those users very early in the funnel.
Karen, the good thing is you're not just an expert in AI, you're also an expert in travel tech. You bring it together at Microsoft, and we, of course, here at the travel tech stage, so to say, in the center of travel tech worldwide. So what is your recommendation to classical travel tech companies, booking systems, GDS, whatever, mid-office? What is your advice to them to be best performer on AI, on Copilot, on wherever?
That's a great question. One of the fundamental changes that is happening is that we are seeing the integration of AI tech in the way people make queries. So what we need from all of these systems is for them to be more flexible, for us to have an open standard and for it to be easier to not have to build crafted experiences just at every booking stage of the funnel. We also expect the patterns of user queries to change significantly as AI knows more and more about you and is able to make a much more informed kind of query out to these booking system. So I expect these to change in order for all of this to be successful together.
Sometimes we are a bit fragmented in travel, aren't we?
We are.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's an issue we have to work on. Thank you so much, Karen Bagger. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, too. Wonderful.